let's get started. Hello YouTube, LJ Draco here. Yes, sorry about the very weird intro. This is actually a video that really, this is the worst day for this. I'm looking for a video to do for Monday. As you guys know, my schedule with Monday isn't anything goes day, and I didn't do nothing last week. But now I'm feeling a bit better. I wanted to try and do something. I saw a video done by Amy McLean. Now you should all know Amy McLean by now. She is a published author, a self-published author that I should actually mention. But she's also a film vlogger and stuff like that, so she does watch a lot of movies, talks about a lot of movies. Link to her channel will be in the description below. But I watched a video that she had done, which is her like top 5 Doctor Who episodes. Now, as you can see back there, I used to watch all the original Doctor Who episodes with my dad when I was very, very young, quite small. We used to watch them together, but by now my brain has forgotten all about the original episode, which sucked. But my brain remembers practically every episode from 2005's Series 1 of the Newer Generation up to at least Season 7, ending with Matt Smith. Yeah, now see, it intrigued me because I never talked about my favourite Doctor Who episodes growing up much other than with close friends, and I haven't really spoke about Doctor Who much on this channel because it's a series and I talk mostly about movies. But Doctor Who was a big inspiration for me. As you could tell, the whole this isn't the original one, by the way. This was the remake one that came out 3 or 4 years ago. The original one I had was actually originally, it had like a purple UV tip and the bottom bit had 2 interchangeable heads and it was a pen. Somewhere on top of the shelf where you see Chip and Archer, there is a Matt Smith screwdriver as well. Plus, I've got like 2 TARDISes somewhere. I've also got a TARDIS cup that my partner bought me. And I've got a TARDIS poster that used to be on the wall that's now moved for now. That inspires me. Doctor Who is a massive inspiration of my life. And it was a fantastic show. Now, I do have to admit, I haven't watched any of the Peter Capaldi episodes or the series. Just because I kind of felt like after Matt Smith, the show should have stopped. I didn't think it should have carried on. Especially after the Day of the Doctor special. I thought that was fantastic. And that should have been the perfect ending to the Doctor Who series. People say that the Capaldi series is apparently a really, really interesting and great series. But I don't know. Something about me just doesn't want to watch it. I'm not saying he's a bad doctor or anything. I just feel as if I couldn't watch it because of him. But let's get into this. She said that she wanted to see some responses or hear some responses in the comments, and I thought, you know what, I'll just do the video because Doctor Who is a topic that is, when it's brought around me, I like to get into. So I've done something similar to what she did. She done 2 runners-up, that ones that didn't actually quite make the list, and then 5 episodes. I kind of had to do the same, and you'll understand why. But I'm going to start my runners-up first, because I don't want to talk about the main episode yet. Each episode that I've chosen isn't because it's like it's not in the order of like the most favourite, like, because I love all episodes. What it really is it's my favourite story behind it, which have more emotion or more interest kind of thing for me. Which episode would I rather watch more than other episodes? So it goes like that for me. Runner-up 1, Wars of Mars. Now, the only reason why this is a runner-up and didn't make the list is because it was the first actual episode of Doctor Who where the Doctor realised, I am the only one left. My planet no longer exists. The rules no longer apply to me. And it was the first time you see, should I say, like, the evil Doctor come out in him. He was just like, I am the last of the Time Lords. There's no one else. It's just me. I make the rules. I say what's going to happen. And he just forgets the fact of all these rules that his planet had. And he's like, do you know what? I'm the only one left. The rules are now up to me. I make the rules. And it was the first time I've seen that rebellious Doctor. And I loved it. But it was so funny how, like, he just became rebellious at that. Then the run-up to is the Planet of the Ood. Now the reason this one is just an amazing tale is because when you see in series 2, there is an episode where you meet the Ood for the first time, and they've got these little balls that they communicate with. This was the episode to explain how the Ood got those. And it turns out that the Ood, when they're born with their brains in their hands. And the fact is, their brains get snipped. And this plastic communicating ball gets shoved onto the end instead. And the Doctor holds Donna's head so she can hear their like slavery song and their emotion song. And it just brought so much emotion out, because you realise these creatures, that they're being tormented to become servants, and it's so bad. They get their brains removed to communicate. And that's a shitty thing to go through. I'm sorry for the swear, but it's true. It brings out so much emotion. Right, so now into the top 5 episodes. I've got to go. Alright, so go. This is from season 1 with Christopher Eccleston. This is Father's Day. Father's Day for me, it speaks on an emotional level, purely for the fact of, you know, when I lost my father back in 2007. But obviously he was still alive in 2005, so... But it's not the fact of so much of that story. What it was is the fact that Rose never really knew her dad well. You know, he died when she was a child. Obviously, we know she was quite a young child, so she never really met him, never really remembered him much. And first time, like, not properly time traveling, but actually doing something to do with her timeline. She just wanted to go back and see him. And yeah, she was an idiot and she broke the rules. And then these Reapers started coming down and correcting time, like started removing people to make up for it. There was someone in the world who shouldn't be, so they were taking everyone else out. And as you see, when they're at the church and they're locked in, there's the car that's meant to have hit Pete Tyler, and it goes round every 5 minutes. It goes round, and after Pete Tyler finds out who he was and what happened to him, and he realizes all these people are going, he looks at the car and goes like, "Well, I've got to do it. Otherwise, this is going to happen." And then he realizes that, you know, because Rose's mum told that story that there was a blonde girl by, no one knew the blonde girl, but there was a blonde girl by the side of her father as he died. And it turns out it was Rose. So, you know, it just a very personal, touching story to know that she was the one who got to spend and hold her dad. It was amazing. That was it's quite a deep story. I get emotional when I talk about certain episodes, sorry. Another one, now my 4th choice is Tooth and Claw, David Tennant episode. Now, there's a reason I love this episode more than the other one. And the other one's a very emotional episode, but this was the first episode where David Tennant was told he was allowed to use his real voice. Voice acting, I know what it's like. You know, when you try and put on an accent too long, or you try and do a different voice for too long, it does not strain and it hurts. And you know, if you're not used to that type of voice, it can hurt a lot. And they were like, well, guess what? You get to actually be you in this episode. So I appreciate the fact that he got to be some originality in it as well. He got to be his voice himself. Plus, it was the original creation of Torchwood. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was the origin of Torchwood for that. Yeah. Technically speaking, the episode with Gwyneth is technically the origin of Torchwood, because that Gwen is the like ancestor of Gwyneth from Torchwood, but this is what originated the name Torchwood. So, yeah. So that's that one. All right. 3rd is Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. Now there are so many reasons as to why these two are on, because they're both it's a 2-part episode, so they're both together anyway. Reason is, okay, I'll explain the first reason. The first reason is we get to see the Daleks and Cybermen act like kids. I don't know why that's fascinating. I love the arguments between the Cybermen. And the Daleks. It's so fantastic. It's just like childish banter between these two, like, It's two different species. It's awesome. Oh my god. Basically, there's this bit where the Daleks and Simon are communicating. And the Cybermen are asking the Daleks to join them or something. It's like something along them lines. Like the Cybermen have asked the Daleks to join. And they've gone like, we're better on our own. And the Cybermen get annoyed, and they're like, you have just declared war against the Cybermen. And the Daleks just go, this is not war, this is pest control. And like, that bit was fantastic. And then they topped it off with, you are superior in one respect. And it's like, what is that? You are better at dying. It's just cool banter. And it became amazing. I loved the whole episode purely because of that. It's because of that I appreciate the storyline between that. And it was just fantastic. Plus, the other reason why it's an amazing episode is because it was technically meant to be the final episode between Rose and David Tennant. It's where she goes through the void. And, well, not really through the void. She's about to go through the void. And then Pete Tyler from an alternate universe uses the timeline transporter to take her back into a different universe. And then once the void's closed, the Doctor can't get to the alternate timeline, but he manages to send a transmission, and it's where he wants to try and say goodbye to Rose, and the transmission cuts off, and he starts crying a lot. And then we get a little sneak preview of Donna Noble. It's an awesome moment. My second favourite is the Shakespeare Code, Season 3. I think it's the second episode of Martha Jones. But I'm a massive fan of Shakespeare. There will be a video up either tomorrow or the day after of mine and my partner's journey to the Millennium Bridge, where the Globe Theatre is. The Millennium Bridge, or wherever. Like, we went to the Globe Theatre because she took me to go and see Romeo and Juliet live yesterday. So that was fantastic. Oh, so fantastic. Yeah, it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And in case there are those who doubt me, I'll just show. In case there's those who doubt me that I went. Look at this. You see this? See? Started at 7:30 and finished at 10:30. So yeah, so watching that, we watched that again yesterday actually when we came back. My partner had never seen that episode, so we put it on. I just love the fact that you get to see Shakespeare, and like you get to realize how much of a genius he is. He can't read anything on the Doctor's psychic paper. He just sees a blank bit of paper. He can tell that the Doctor's not from their time, even though he's dressed obviously like he's not. But just how Shakespeare's such a smart man, and you get to hear like Shakespeare use some form of original language towards the end when he's like called the wordsmith. I like it when they go back into those kind of periods of time, like the Charles Dickens era or the Elizabeth I era. Just all these different things that happen, all these different going back into history. Plus the Carrier Knights were badass characters. Although I have to laugh every time I see Mother Doomfinger. It's just the way that the first witch says it. She goes, Mother Doomfinger, and then she just pops up. Just got on their faces. Okay, and now for number one. Now people are probably not gonna agree with it, but I have to explain why. I just got to. Now this episode is from season 5, so it's a Matt Smith episode, and it is the Pandorica opens. Now, the reason I love this episode more than any other episode that I've mentioned is because the whole point of the Pandorica, or the Pandora's box, is it was meant to be able to hold the most fearsome being in the whole universe. And the Doctor's talking about it to Amy, and just explaining like it's meant to hold that. And then like when he's outside, he's calling down every alien race as he sees there's like a ship from every alien race he's ever fought. And he like challenging them all, saying if they all want him to come and get him and all this stuff. Before the box opens. When the box opens, there's just a chair in there. There's just like a massive chair with some like handcuff things. And it says empty, like, where's the most fearsome being in the universe? And like all the aliens that he's ever faced turn around and say, it's you. You're the most fearsome being in the universe. Wherever you go, there's war, death, destruction. The reason wars happen is because you're involved. Like, if it weren't for you, this wouldn't happen. And they lock him in. I remember the first time this was on TV, and I didn't like Matt Smith. Nope. But I wanted to watch the series. I wanted to give it a go because apparently the storylines were meant to be a lot better. There was meant to be no returning bad guys from the original 4 seasons. I know they all kept returning. But it was fantastic. I love it. I love the fact that he was the most fearsome being in the universe. And I like how the aliens admitted it. And it was them that locked him in. That there's no story that could beat it to me. Like that, even if it wasn't Matt Smith who done this episode, the story of this episode was fantastic because it shows how dangerous the Doctor really is. Because we always see him as the good guy, which is true, he is. We always see him as the guy that tries to help. But as you can tell by how many episodes of Doctor Who there is always trouble no matter where he goes. But it's the fact that the aliens admitted that he is the most fearsome being in the universe. That's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed that the good guy that we all grew to love, the good old two-hearted Time Lord, is technically the most dangerous out of all of them. I mean, we forget he took down his own planet to save the world, save the universe. He took down his own people to save the universe, so we should have known how dangerous he was from that point. But yeah, that one had to be my favourite album because it was just so fantastic of learning that story. I'm actually going to rewatch this episode tonight because it's freaking amazing. So yeah, that's just all my picks. I'm sorry if this video wasn't as interesting. I do apologise. I only did this because Amy McLean done her video, and as soon as I watched it, I was so happy in seeing someone's dedication to Doctor Who, and the fact that they could sit there and talk about their favourite episodes and why. And then when she said that she'd like to hear or see some responses, I just instantly went, oh, this is something I would love to do. And I did. I enjoyed talking about it because it makes me remember each and every episode and how much I really do enjoy them. So this is great. This is something fantastic for me to do. I'm hoping she's okay with me doing this video response. I'm going to actually message her before I put this up. I'm gonna let you know that I'm doing this, if that's okay. But anyway, yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video and previous videos, strike the like for future videos. And if you're new to my channel and only seen a couple of my videos, so click that subscribe button, show your support. I truly appreciate it. Anyway, that is it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.